Testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Should begin in just a few minutes. I think we're gonna start on time today. So let's begin. Actually 1 minute late. And I'm gonna move this one away and move my camera back down in position. Go. Hello and welcome to the third session of our current clicker game. Hopefully we will make some awesome stuff today. Let's first start to see what we actually have. So let me start up the scratch here. If you didn't manage to follow the game that we made, the current version that we are currently working on is uploaded to Scratch own website. You should be able to find the link in the description below, where you can directly code in your web browser, or you can actually download the game and work with us. So that should be available there. I can see my Scratch here is currently in Danish, so let me just change that quick. So this makes more sense. Go, stop the game, zoom in so you can see, and we should be good to go. So just to show you what we made the last 2 times, we currently have a balloon that we can click on with the mouse, and whenever we click, we spawn a smaller version of the balloon that is popping out and then disappearing, and then we get a point here on the top. You can see the center number here in the middle is our total count of points, whereas the left number is the amount of points we can spend on buying upgrades. And we actually made an upgrade last time that I chose some bananas that I can buy, and these cost 50 points. So let me just quickly show you that when I get to 50 points, I have to click it 50 times. There we go. And if I click, apparently it's 51. If I click it, and then my points disappear, but now I bought the upgrade. And what the upgrade in this case is doing, you can see my counter here on the top right. That's how many points I get for each click. And as we progress in the game, we should be able to buy better upgrades that will get us a lot more points for each click. And I think we're gonna make an auto clicker today. So basically the game will play itself as an upgrade. So imagine that we have like 100 points. We can buy an upgrade that will automatically give us points without us doing anything. Of course, it's not gonna be as many points as if we click ourselves, but it's gonna be just adding points over the time by itself. So I think that's gonna be the first thing that we're gonna try and add, so the game can actually play itself, and then we can also actively play it by clicking the object. So let's see if we can do that. First, I need to add an object as the upgrade. The first upgrade I made was a pair of bananas. My next upgrade will be something else. So I'm gonna go down to the sprite vendor here. Fine, I'm gonna choose, let's see. The exact icon doesn't matter, or image. You can draw one yourself. But in my case, I'm gonna choose the cake. Move that down next to, and I'm gonna make it slightly smaller. And the way I'm doing this is we have a size number here. When you have selected the image that you wanna change the size of, simply select it and then find a number here. As you can see, it's always gonna be set to 100. So if I make the number lower than 100, I'm trying, let's say 75. You can see when I click somewhere else on the screen, or you can press enter on the keyboard, that should also work. You can see it actually changes the size. So now I'm happy with the size that it has now. Just to show you, if I change it to 10, you can see it becomes super tiny, and I'm not able to see it with my own eyes. So I'm gonna change it back to 75 for now. What I want, so this is my cake upgrade. So whenever I can buy the cake, I will get what we call an auto clicker, something that will click by itself without me actually doing anything on the mouse. So the game will play by itself, is the feature that we are gonna add. And then after we make it work, we are gonna give in my case, the cake a cost. So let's see if we can add some code to our cake here. First, I think we should start with a green flag block. This is enabling the code whenever we are starting the game. So whenever we click the green flag to start our game. So this is important for this one. And then we want our number to go up by itself. Let's say it's gonna go up by 1 for every 1 second. So it's just gonna keep counting. See if we can add that first. So, and our number up here on the left is a variable, and we talked about these last time. To find the variables that we have made, you go to the left at the bottom here, and you can see the 3 variables that we have made. The number, and this one is called high score, the center one, and then we have our counter. And we are gonna change our number. So we need the change block, and you can see mine says is currently saying change counter, but I can change the center one here to what I want. Move that in here, and I want this to keep happening every second. So let's see if we can find a block that does this for us. We have to go into control, and I think one way of doing it is if we do something forever with this block, and then we're gonna wait a second. I'm first gonna show you what it will do without the wait. If you don't put in the wait in here, it's gonna count way too fast. And just to show you what will happen with the number up here, I'm gonna test the game. As you can see, this is counting way faster than 1 second, yeah. It's counting like 30 times faster than I wanted. So stopping the game again and adding this 1 second delay after changing the number, we'll get a lot smoother counting, and it's more in line with what I want it to do. So now we actually have the game play itself. So if I'm waiting until this number reaches 51, then I can buy the banana, in my case, without me actually playing the game. But we first want this to be active when we have bought the upgrade for it. So we need to press the upgrade, or not to be confusing, we have to buy the upgrade. In my case, it's a cake. Moving that over to the right here. So we need this to have a cost, and we can see what we made for the banana and kind of copy that code and just increase the cost of it. So, and my code is, so if your code is disappearing like this, where it's on the top left, you can use the button here on the bottom right, and it will center the code so you know where it is. All your code will just be centered. And let me zoom in so you can see it. So here we are looking at our number. This block that I'm holding right now is holding the number that we see on the top left, currently saying 24. It is asking, is that number higher, and that's the symbol in here, than 50? If it is, then we can buy it. So we are gonna add something similar in our cake here. So in here, let's see, we're gonna find if. So we're gonna ask a question, and then we will need the green block to do the let's see, to do the comparison that we had, and that's the first one here. You should add that one inside, and then find the variable number block. It should be in here. So now we're asking this, and that should happen whenever we click the what do you call it, the upgrade. Seeing do we actually have enough points to buy this upgrade. Let's see how we can make this. So we need to change the green flag here with a click block instead, and you can find this in events. And instead of the green flag here on the top, we're gonna go a bit down and find when this sprite is clicked, and the sprite in this case is our cake. And add this together, and removing the green flag since we're not gonna need that. So when we click it, then we will sorry, I lost my thought there. Then we'll see if we can get this upgrade. Actually, for testing purposes, I'm not gonna make it cost that much. So let's say it's gonna cost 10, so I don't have to click it 50 times for each test. 1 second. And for this to work, let's see. In here, we are gonna okay, 1 second. Okay, so we're gonna go a few steps back, as I can see. We're gonna change something, and we need to add another variable basically. Currently we have the 3 up here. As you can see, we have a counter, a high score, and number. We're gonna add a 4th one that is holding the auto clicker number, how many points we will get automatically by the game just running. So we need a number or a variable holding that number. So if you follow me here to variables, that's difficult to say a lot of times. Variables. if we make a new one here with the make a variable button, and we are gonna call it auto clicker. So this will automatically click for us. Is the idea of it's you're not gonna see it click, but it's just gonna act like you are clicking the object. And make sure that you choose for all sprites here, and then press OK. We should now have a fourth number in the game. We can either hide that or keep showing it. That's not super important. I think I'm gonna hide it later, but for now, for testing, I'd like to see what number is currently there. So with that new number, we are gonna go back to, and actually, no, we're gonna keep the code in here for this one, because everything that is for our new auto clicker, I think it's best that we have it in added to the. In my case, it's a cake. Hopefully, you chose the cake as well. So in here, we're gonna add two different columns of blocks. We're gonna go back and find the green flag that I just told you to throw out. And add what we just made in the beginning. So basically back to what we made in the start here. But we're gonna change it up slightly. We're gonna change number by, instead of just saying 1, we are now changing it by our auto clicker number. So instead of just writing a simple number in here, we're actually adding a block there. You can find the block in variables one more time. And you can see now we have the fourth one up here saying auto clicker. So you want to add that instead of the 1. So if we are to start the game now, you can see the number doesn't count by itself anymore because it's trying to add 0 to 0. Which means whenever we are buying or clicking, buying this upgrade, we are gonna add a number to the auto clicker, which will then automatically keep adding to our number. So we're gonna have a lot of numbers in this, and try and stay with me here. To show you how this is gonna work is, I can click the green, or not the green flag, the cake here. Whenever we have more than 10 points. So let's see if we can change this. So, or try this. So if you find the change auto clicker, if it says something else, make sure to change it to saying auto clicker, and then add that in here. So actually right now we have it working. So let's see if I try my game. You can see nothing happens here unless I click. So whenever I'm clicking the balloon, I get points. When I have more than 10 points, so 11, I can now buy this auto clicker. So if I'm clicking this, the game will now count by itself without me playing. I have hands off the keyboard. Because you can see now the auto clicker is now having the number 1. So if I'm going back to the cake here, you can see it's trying, it will now add the auto clicker number, which is 1, to our number value. And you can see that keeps counting. And then we just get more points. And then if I click it one more time, because I can keep buying them, you can now see now my auto clicker is 10, and now it will count 10 for each second. So it keeps going faster without me playing. So the further I get in the game, the more points will I can acquire without actually playing the game. I think that's the whole idea. Either you can actively click, or you can get to a point where you don't have to click anymore. So I think let's stop that here. Since now we have two things we can buy. I think the next step should be changing the color of the balloon depending on how many points you have acquired. And I can actually see one issue here. My number here doesn't increase my high score whenever it counts by itself. So we should add that before we continue. Let's see here. So we are changing the number here, but we also want to change the high score. Let's see how we are actually doing that at the moment. See if we can find our high score number. Change by counter. Yes, so we're just gonna add one more block here. And it's another one of the change one, but this time we're gonna change high score by our auto clicker as well. And we also want to go back to our balloon, and here when we are starting the game we want to set everything back to 0. So we also want to set our auto clicker back to 0, because if I'm starting the game now I will automatically be at 10 in the beginning, and this is not what I want. I want that to go back to 0, so I have to progress one more time. So we can simply either, you can right click and then duplicate, or you can find a block one more time and change it to auto clicker. That will make it go back here. Going back one more time to our new upgrade. When we are buying it, we also want the cost to or our points to go down whenever we are buying stuff. Unless, in this case, the cake is actually free. As you can see, when I'm over a certain amount of points, see when I get to 11, I can just keep clicking my cake here. But I actually want my points to go down when I'm buying it. And then we're gonna add in the same way that we did with my banana upgrade. You can see here where I'm subtracting the amount that it's costing here from number in this case. Let's see here. So we are gonna change number to be minus. I'm gonna make it cost 100. Let's see. There we go. And actually it's gonna cost 101 now, because it has to be bigger than the number that you put in here. But this is fine. This is good. So I think we should make something more cool, make it more flashy, with the balloons changing color whenever we are clicking it. Something we had in the beginning as well. So moving away from the two upgrades that we made, going back to our balloon, which has a lot of coding in here. We have something saying whenever we are clicking, let's see here, when it's clicked, yeah, we are creating a clone here. So basically the bottom part here. The first block of code here is creating a clone and then adding some points to us. The second block here is for the smaller balloons that we are spawning. And I think to begin with, let's make these a random color for whenever we are clicking the current balloon. And maybe also a different size. We can also make like super huge. Right now they are just half the size of the original one. But let's start with the color. I think that's very easy to add. So if we're changing the looks, we have to find the purple blocks. In here we can find costumes. This is what we call the different looks. And we can just take the simple one saying next costume. That should be somewhere in the top. And if you just add that in here to the block of code. So testing the game just to see. and it keeps staying yellow. This is not exactly what I wanted. I think if we stop the game and actually move that. So going back to what we had here, instead of using it here when I start as a clone, I want to add it to when I click the sprite, because we are creating a clone of the sprite. But this will also mean that we are changing the costume of the current balloon. So let me show what that looks like. So you can see also our current balloon is changing color. This is fine, but what I want is I want the center balloon here to stay the same color, and only the smaller balloons to have a different color. This is more of a challenge, so let's see if we can actually make that happen. So moving that away again, and let's see. When I start as a clone, next costume. Let's see what we should change that into. We can switch to, let's see if we have a random one. Oh, let's see, switch costume. Let's see what we can do with this one. Switch costume to A, B, C. So these are the 3 different costumes. Costume number. Switch costume to costume. When I start as a. So if we add this one, let's add that first up here. So what this block will do is, it's not gonna do exactly what I want it to. This will change it into the costume called Balloon 1C. And I can go and find what that one is in costumes here in the top left. And the Balloon 1C, that's the name of my costume, is the purple one that I'm currently on. So in the code here, if I change this to Balloon 1A, this will be the blue one that will keep spawn. And if I change it to the B one, it should be the yellow one. Yeah. So we want this to change randomly whenever we are clicking or creating a clone. Let's see what if we have a block that actually will do this for us. This might not be as easy as I thought. Costume, name, number. Let's see, can we choose a pick a random, can put that in there between 1 and 3. Hey, there we go. Okay, so what I did here is that the switch costume to, and then it doesn't matter what it says here. You have to go into the operators, that's the green blocks, that's when we add something with numbers, and find the one saying pick random. This will take a random number between the numbers that you put in here, and since we have 3 costumes, you put in a number between, you put the numbers 1 and 3. If we had, like, let's say you had 10 costumes, 10 different color balloons, you would add 1 to 10. But in my case, I only have 3. So adding that in here will make it spawn only, or it will pick a random costume now when you click the balloon, which looks more cool actually. So I think adding a different size also, so they are not all the same size when we are spawning them, could also add some flavor to our game. So that's the next block that we have here. If I were to say, let's say 200%, that would be double the size of our current balloon. As you can see, that will just look funny, super funny. But instead of that being the same size every time, I want it to be a different size every time. So I never know which kind of balloon is popping up. And we're gonna use again the random number here. So find another one of these and add them in here. And for this, I wanna say, let's say 10. And you can also go down to 1 if you want, but that's gonna be a super tiny balloon. So actually, let's try that and say 1 to 200%, and try and test that. Keep in mind there are no wrong numbers here. You can put in also 990,000 if you like. We can also test that. As you can see, it has a maximum of how big the balloons can be. So a more suitable number would be 200. Let's see if that will actually... that looks great. And we can also make it spin, have the balloon spin. What we added, I think the first time, was that the balloons would turn in a different direction whenever we're spawning one. We can change that by removing the turn block and simply adding another one of the turn blocks. And you can find those in motion. That's the blue ones. And find in here turn. You can either turn to the left or to the right. It doesn't really matter here. But this time, instead of adding it above or forever, we're gonna add it inside. And see what happens. Let's see. So yeah. And if you want to have them turn even faster, you can simply increase the number here. So let's say 70. And see what happens. And it's just gonna go crazy. So I think a more funny number. So it doesn't look too weird. I'm just gonna say 20. I think I'm happy with that. So now we actually have some more animations or more graphics to the game. And we also in the beginning added the auto clicker, which means the game can either be played actively, where you as the player are clicking the balloon, and when you play enough you can have the game play itself. So let's say I'm getting to, actually I'm gonna stop the game, go into full screen, and just show you how far we are with the game here. So starting the game, everything will be set down to 0, and we have a counter of 1, meaning that when I click our balloon we will get 1 point. As you can see, they spawn in different sizes, different colors, all the way down to a super tiny balloon. And we made it so that our banana upgrade is costing 50. As you can see, when I click it, I lose my 50 points, but I gain 1 to my counter, meaning that when I click, I will get 2 points now. If I were to get 101 point, I will be able to buy my auto clicker. So if I'm clicking now the cake, you can see I get an auto clicker point, meaning that the game will now automatically give me points. So I can go and make coffee, get something to eat, and then get back here, and I will have a lot of points to spend on bananas and cakes, and get even more points throughout the game. And in the center here we have the high scores showing that see how many points you can actually get playing the game. You could go up to 1 million if you play it for that long, but this is basically how far we are with the game at this current state. And I'm unsure what else we can add without it being too complicated. So I'm actually happy with the state of the game right now. So this is basically the end of the clicker game as we started on. And from the next live stream, we will be beginning on a totally new game from scratch, as the program is also called. But to end today's session, make sure that you are saving the game. I'm gonna pause my game one more time and showing you how to save up here on the top left. And make sure you save it on your computer so you have it for later, or if you want to show it to your friends. Here you can see I get a pop-up window, and I'm able to give it a name here. So I'm gonna call mine Balloon Clicker Final. I'm gonna make some spaces here, and then press save. Mine is in Danish, so it says game. And then you have your game saved. If you don't save it, we do have the current version up on Scratch, and there will also be a link so you can download it or play it if you like. It's always available. But yeah, that's it for today. Hopefully you liked it. If you have any ideas for what we should be working on next, the next game, please write it on Facebook or on our Discord channel, and we will take your ideas and put them in the next game that we're making. So, but other than that, thank you for today and have a good evening. I will see you next time.